Welcome to this first Uposatha program of the Dhamma Vasa in 2024 here at the Dhamma Monastery. I think we can begin with a sit of meditation. Recalling if you made the adhitthana earlier today to uphold the precepts of the Uposatha day and to spend the day dedicated to the Dhamma and meditation, dedicated to seclusion, dedicated to wisdom, remembering the purpose, arranging the body in an upright and balanced posture. Poised, alert, aware of the weight of the body touching the seat or the floor, aware of the feet or the legs, connecting to the earth element which supports us. Aware of the flow of the breath, the air element, with the upright posture. The breath can flow very easily and can be noticed from the base of the belly all the way up to the head. observing the sensation of breathing. Aware of any sensation arising in the present moment, in the here and now. With the contact of the senses. And with awareness. There is that sensation and some feeling. Noticing as much as we can notice. Among all the sense contacts, letting the mind be still as possible. Nothing to do except be aware. If the mind is destructible and wanders away from the here and now, or if the mind is not connecting well to the here and now, this is only natural just because of causes and conditions. In that case, make the object very simple, easy to see, like the in-breath and the out-breath. Even using a word to stay connected with meditation. Breathing in with Bud, breathing out with Do, Bud, Do, Bud, Do. But when that restless mind calms down, one can simply be aware of the sensations arising, of the breath in and out. And gently stretching the body, making a comfortable posture. I'd like to commend those people who are so determined to participate in 3 different programs on this Uposatha Day. And in particular, I would like to acknowledge Bhikkhu Gay Nashan, who was present earlier, but I didn't see his arrival earlier. I just saw it at the very tag end this afternoon. Venerable, we're very pleased to have you listening to this program. I thought of speaking first about the 6 warm-hearted qualities. That was the very last part of the sutta that we were speaking about this afternoon, which are qualities that are supporting communal harmony, making for fondness and respect, supporting inclusion, harmony, unity of the community, and non-quarreling. So if each person, to whatever extent, is able to cultivate these 6 qualities internally to that extent, then they are contributing to not only be of benefit for their own personal practice and happiness, but also being a benefit in terms of those around, those in community. What 6? First, one would consistently treat their spiritual companions with bodily kindness, both in public and in private. The bodily kindness could be doing a favor, sweeping and tidying the monastery, helping somebody out, um, uh, uh, giving them something, helping them when they are in need of help. Those can all be bodily acts of kindness. And then second, treating their spiritual companions with verbal kindness. That can include, I think, not only talking, but also listening. So listening deeply when one's companion is speaking or when they're showing what's going on with them, and then speaking in a way which is to the point, beneficial, uh, uh, timely, given at the right time, and truthful and relevant to the Dhamma. So those kinds of speeches are kind speeches. Even speech which acknowledges the other person, if you let them know that you can see them and that you are able to see their good qualities, that would be a kind speech. Or even sometimes helping somebody if they're making a mistake or going the wrong way, then they say that it's really great when a bhikkhu or a bhikkhuni has a kind of companion who is keeping an eye on them, and then if they're starting to go the wrong way, they can just in a very subtle way give them a tip. Careful, careful, be careful. Don't go the wrong way. And even just with a look, if people are good friends, that can be communicated in that way. We're supporting and helping one another. And then the third quality is treating them with mental kindness. That will be doing the practice of um, the loving kindness meditation, developing that intention and reflecting about that a reflection of kindness. Um, and then fourth of all, a mendicant would share without any reservation any material possession they have gained by legitimate means, even the food placed in their alms bowl. They would use them in common with their spiritual companions. So even if we go for the alms round and um, we didn't receive very much food, that could happen, and we come back with just a little bit of food, and then we see that our companion has even less food than we have, or maybe our companion is hungry because of the kind of body that they have, and then we would give from our own food to support our companion, to share. Mm. If somebody asks for a favor, to give in a service, um, as long as we have the strength to be willing to help in that way. That's also an aspect of sharing. And then the fifth warm-hearted quality is that one would live according to the shared common precepts, the common values that are agreed to by the community, both in public and in private. Making these precepts as much as we can, keeping them impeccable, spotless, not marred with any kind of mistakes, that are liberated and praised by wise people, and leading to contemplation, leading to meditation, leading to immersion. There are the teachings that are handed down by the Buddha, the precepts handed down by the Buddha, and the advice that's given in many different places, both the standards of behavior, such as the 5 precepts, the 8 precepts, or the monastic precepts, and as well the advice about purification of the imperfections. So keeping all of those, if we're in a Buddhist community, we keep them in common. And then communities will also have reached their own common decisions about how the precepts are expressed, how they're manifested. We have a custom at our place when we have the Uposatha recitation, that there's a few phrases of asking forgiveness for our faults, and sharing merits for the good qualities. And the way we do it is that whoever has got the longest seniority, the others would bow down and ask forgiveness from that one. And then the person who has the second most seniority, all those who are junior to them, would bow down and ask for forgiveness. And the person who has the third most seniority, the remaining people would bow down and ask for forgiveness, going all the way down the line to the last two people. And these might be new bhikkhunis. It's quite kind of like startling when one is a young monastic to have be receiving that token of respect like that. It kind of makes you think, am I worthy of this respect? And then there's another community that we're familiar with where they don't do it that way because they are concerned about the dangers of too much emphasis on hierarchy. And so at that community, all of the Sangha together um, bows to the image of the Buddha and asks for forgiveness, but they don't do this thing going down the line. So a warm-hearted, kind bhikkhuni would, without any reservation or hesitation, practice in the way that's been agreed to and being held by that community. They wouldn't practice by saying, why are we doing it this way, others doing it that way? Or then at the other community, they're saying, why are they doing it that way, others are doing it this way? And feeling some inner criticism, even as they're going through the motions of keeping the details in common with the community. That's not the warm-hearted way. The warm-hearted way is to welcome, to see the good, to find the good, and to respect and appreciate the agreements that were made before, and to remember and honor those agreements. And then even in private or even when traveling or being away from home, still keeping up the spirit of those things that have been agreed to by one's own community. And not just, like it happens in our Sangha. We're so lucky to have a Sangha. So then 90% of the time, there's at least one other person present in the house, or 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 9 people, others in the house who are committed to these precepts. But then every once in a while it happens that for a couple of hours, the others have to go out on an errand, and I will be there like the only person. So at that moment, do I uphold the standard of deportment and the practices that have been agreed to by the community? And do I do that expressing my respect and appreciation and my wish to support communal harmony by having that continuity? So that's something to think about. And then the last part of the quality that supports this harmony is the view, the noble right view, which is in common with one's spiritual companions, which is noble and emancipating, and which leads one to the end of suffering. And so holding that view in common with one's companions is a powerful, lovable, warm-hearted way of supporting communal harmony. So if you would undertake these qualities then it would be for your long-lasting happiness. Now, I want to speak to you about the Uposatha. This is what I promised. It's not what's left over from the previous session, but it's what I promised for this session. There's a couple of suttas, maybe 3 or 4 suttas in the whole canon that do speak about the Uposatha practice. And also in the inspired utterances of the enlightened bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, you very frequently see a reference to one saying that while they were striving for awakening, that they practiced those observances. The Buddhist calendar is on a lunar cycle by the phases of the moon. It's divided into 3 seasons. Each season is 4 months long, 4 lunar months long, and each month is divided between the first and second part, between the full moon and the new moon, or the dark moon, is 14 or 15 days, and then between the dark moon or the new moon and the full moon is 14 or 15 days. The observance day is on the last day of that cycle. So that would be the day before the full moon, or the day before the new moon. And it's also observed on the 8th day. So that's the midpoint. So and the 8 precepts the 8 Uposatha precepts that we were speaking of before are very often mentioned. Typically, one would sort out one's affairs so there's not too many chores and activities to be involved with on the Uposatha day. One could take that as a personal retreat time, going into solitude in the quiet of your own home, or else going to a temple or a meditation place that's shared with others, or sitting at the root of the tree or in a cave in a quiet place. Uh, the and one would practice upholding those precepts for that day, the full 8 precepts, including celibacy, fasting in the evening, and avoiding dancing, music shows, entertainment, perfumes, and beautifying with jewelry, and as well, one would avoid using high and luxurious seats and beds during that time. So just simply having a day dedicated to contemplation. In the sutta called the Dhammika Sutta, that's in the Sutta Nipata, which is a very early ancient text. Dhamma has the meaning of the truth, and it also has the meaning of the teachings of the Buddha, and it also has the meaning of not only the way things actually are, that's the truth aspect, but also in terms of the way things should be. So when they say that a person is a dhammika, that means that they are a righteous person. A person who does what they should do is called a dhammika person. One of the favorite gathas that I like to recite is that has that word dhammika. It's may the rains come at the right time. May the harvest come in. May everybody have enough to eat. And may the king be righteous. So these would be the features that would help to support a happy country. Uh, so in this Dhammika Sutta, he gives a very sort of fresh and simple rendition of the Vinaya, of the code of behavior for the monastics and for lay people. And this version of the Vinaya is so refreshing because it's not so complicated and long, and it doesn't take an hour to recite it. It's not complicated. It's much more like natural. He says, keep this in mind. He says, an intelligent person, seeing the meaning, would adopt the behavior worthy of a renunciate. They would never go out at the wrong time. This is the going to the village for the alms food. So they would not go at nighttime. They would not go in the afternoon. They would not go in the evening. They would only go in the morning, walking to the village for alms. He said that chains bind one who, or fetters bind one who wanders at the wrong time. So you should avoid that. And then he said, this is while the monk is going out on the alms round. They say sights, sounds, tastes, smells, and touches can drive beings mad. One should dispel desire for such things and enter for the morning meal at the right time. When we go to the alms round, we stop at the one we're doing currently. We stop at the Trader Joe's store, and they've got millions of items in the store. So many interesting and good, tasty items, but we're not supposed to be thinking about all the different possible items that somebody might give us from that store. And then we stop at the Lemongrass Thai restaurant in Petaluma, and those people are so kind. They know what time to expect us, and they will have prepared a hot lunch. So we got a hot restaurant lunch, all packed up in takeaway boxes, ready for us to go. And it's done with so much faith and so much love. So that's happy, and we're so happy to see those people. And but we don't let the mind focus on the yummy and delicious food and how nice it will be to eat the food while it's still warm. And then we go to the farmers market there in Petaluma, and again, there's so many different things to see. We might have maybe 3 or 4 people who are very friendly to us, and then when they see us, then we want to say, hello, how are you? Are you doing well? How's your health? How's the wife? How are the children? How's your project going? But we try not to be too much distracted by getting involved in too much conversations like that. And there's also so many interesting booths. There's the one that has soap, and the one that has dairy, and the one that has fish, and the one that has meat, and the one that has vegetables, and the one that has trinkets or jewelry. And so one that has bread, one that has pizza. And so one could get involved in just being delighted after the stillness of the monastery, seeing so much a variety of interesting things. And these workers have started their small business to create these items, and then to go around to the different markets to sell the things that they have made themselves, or grown themselves on their own farm, or made by themselves with their own hands. But we control the senses when we go out, and we don't let ourselves get too carried away. We just focus on developing the thought of loving kindness, and for each person that we see, wishing for their happiness and their wellness. So that's going for the morning meal at the right time. Then, after receiving alms for the day and returning, the mendicant should sit in private alone. They should be inwardly reflective. They should curb their mind. They should make the mind attention come inwards, keeping themselves collected. If they have any conversation with another spiritual seeker, or with another bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, or with anyone at all, they would only speak about the sublime teaching, the sublime Dhamma. They would never use divisive speech, and they would not do blaming speech, and not do gossip. Also, they would not get involved in debates. So there wouldn't be, like we said this morning, what you said first, you should have said last. What you said last, you should have said first. Try to save your point. You are defeated. You wouldn't at all never talk like that. And you would not praise people who are not wise. So then they don't do practices that make the mind wander and be distracted and discursive. Instead, they speak and talk and direct the mind in a way that brings it inward. After hearing the teachings of the Buddha, the wise disciple would consider these teachings and then put them into practice, using them for their own development. When it comes to alms food and lodgings, and water for rinsing the dust from the outer robes, one would not become greedy or attached to any of those things. Instead, the bhikkhu or bhikkhuni would be unsullied, untouched in the midst of those things, like a drop of water on the lotus leaf. So even though we're in contact with having robes, having a lodging place, having the alms food, we keep the mind detached from those things. That's the Vinaya. That's the whole Vinaya that was explained in this particular sutta. So lovely, so fresh, so simple, so memorable. Then the Buddha mentions the householder's duty, what to do in order to be a good disciple. They said, one who is burdened with possessions does not get to realize the whole of the mendicant's practice. And so being burdened with possessions, in this case, would mean that, like, you have a farm, and you have your flock, you have your herd of cows, and your flock of sheep, and your flock of chickens, and your flock of ducks, and you have to take care of them. You have to make sure that they get fed every day, make sure they get watered every day, and then you have your family and your relatives, and you have to take care of all your family and take care of your relatives every day. You have your employees. You have to take care that the employees are being treated fairly, and that they're doing their work and being paid in a proper and just way. And so then just by existing in that householder world is in a world which has got quite a lot of diverse responsibilities. And it's for that reason that the Buddha is giving a kind of vinaya for the householders that is compatible with having those other duties. First, they would not kill any creature, nor have them killed, nor give permission for others to kill. They would put aside violence towards all creatures, frail or firm in the world. Next, they would avoid knowingly taking anything not given at all. They'd not get others to do it, nor give them permission to steal. They would avoid all theft. They would avoid an unchaste life like a burning pit of coals. But if they're not able to be celibate, then at least they would not transgress another's partner. In a council or assembly, or even one-on-one, they would never tell a lie. They would not get others to lie, nor give them permission to lie. They avoid all untruths. They would not consume liquor or drink, not get others to drink, not give them permission to drink, knowing that drinking ends in intoxication, and drunken fools do bad things and encourage other heedless folk. So they reject that whole field of demerit. Then he gives the precepts for the Uposatha day. On the Uposatha day, don't kill a creature, steal, lie, drink alcohol. You will be celibate, refraining from sex. Don't eat at night the wrong time. Don't wear garlands or apply perfumes. Sleep on a low bed or a mat on the ground. This is the 8-factored Uposatha, which is explained by the Buddha. One should undertake this Uposatha complete in all of its 8 factors on the 14 or 15 and on the 8th of each fortnight, as well as on the fortnightly special days. So you could observe this on the day before the full moon day and on the day of the full moon day. And then on the morning after the full moon day, an intelligent person rejoicing with a confident heart would distribute food and drink to the mendicant sangha, as is fitting. One would rightfully support one's parents, undertake legitimate livelihood, and observe these duties. A person who lives like this, at a minimum, would ascend to the gods, to the brightly shining devas, and have a heavenly existence in this world, and could be reborn in a heavenly world. There's another sutta that gives a lot of very specifics about how many days of doing a good practice will get you how many eons in or how many hundreds of thousands of years in which one of the divine heavenly realms. I'm not going to go through that one, but the contemplation of heaven is actually, it's a legit protective contemplation. And this is where, if you know that the dukkha has been partly relieved through this virtuous practice that lead to a calm, loving, and kind heart, and make a person be as if they were bound for heaven, are as if they were in a heavenly existence. And so if you should happen to see an angel or see a God or see a heavenly being, you might appreciate that they got there through virtue. And they might be one who, that type of God who possesses wisdom, who's practicing the Dhamma. And so these practices, of course, will also create the opening for the hindrances and the defilements of character to become weaker and weaker until they disappear, and to be able to enter into deep meditation at the times that you're able to set aside all those duties and have a retreat and spend that time of meditation, whether it be an hour at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, or whether it be the full moon day or the new moon day, or even taking a longer time of retreat, that because of these merits, the mind will be easily able to be bright and concentrated, and to experience the tranquility of meditation. And with that tranquility of meditation, whatever wisdom you have from listening to the Dhamma and reflecting and thinking about the Dhamma and attempting to realize the Dhamma can also become realized in a more full and more profound way. So with the combination of listening to the Dhamma, practicing meditation, and that eye-opening Dhamma can be realized. It's completely possible for householders to have noble attainments themselves, even if they don't have the possibility of going into the monastic form during this lifetime. They can be a stream enterer, or a once returner, or a non-returner. A once returner is a person who's given up the great majority of their sensual desire and aversion. They've given up like 90% of it. And they might be reborn one more time at this worldly level. And a non-returner is a person who is completely clear of aversion and greed. In addition to having previously become free from skeptical doubt, free from clinging to rites and rituals, and becoming free from the wrong view that is finding a self anywhere in the five aggregates. So these things are all possible and all attainable. But these Uposatha practices are an excellent way to set oneself up for realizing the benefits that can be realized. Even as I said a few minutes ago that the following the warm-hearted qualities, one of the warm-hearted qualities is living according to the precepts shared by the spiritual companions. So you could consider that you could have a sense of spiritual companionship with all of the householders that lived at the time of the Buddha, and in all of the subsequent following generations for the past 2,600 years, that there are a countless number of beings who learned about upholding Uposatha days and observing something like a Sabbath, a time for greater simplicity and practice on the at least on the full moon, the new moon, and then also possibly on the quarter moon, observing those quiet days dedicated to practice. And so one could feel that by undertaking this practice, not only are you doing something you read in a book, but you're also placing myself in fellowship with other Buddhist people around the world who have seen and undertaken these practices, and also with the followers of the Buddha from the previous generations who have been practicing and continuing these traditions. So this is what I have to say about the Uposatha and why we recommend that the Uposatha is a good practice to follow and to do regularly. And now I would invite any comments or any report from the few people who are here with us online or here in person about what is the significance or the value of the Uposatha practice for you. Okay, Ruwanti, what do you think?
Thank you, Aya. First of all, I want to express my gratitude for doing the program today. I feel very uplifted listening to the talk as well. This during the guided meditation session, the theme of today came into my mind, meditating on Sila as well. So it brought immense joy. Today was a day I kind of stayed away from my regular day-to-day activities, so much less work around the house and mostly committing my time to practice and reflecting on the qualities of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So it was such a joyful day, and I want to share the merits with everyone. And thank you so much. It means a lot to have the support of the day. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for that. Rascal, would you like to offer any comment or a report or a question?
Sure. I just want to appreciate I'm coming in a little later in the day, but I hope to join sooner in the future. But yeah, we're very much in the householders with too many responsibilities version of things right now. And so I appreciate you speaking to that. And then at the same time, all the responsibilities are opportunities for care, right? So we have the toddler and we have the plants and there was a friend's birthday party, right? And so then there were children that were singing songs. And so I'm sitting with both sort of don't participate in entertainment, but also sort of the sort of simple joy and simplicity of like toddlers playing, little songs and singing. And so just trying to feel my own way into sort of how maybe strictly or gently it will work to kind of hold that container, because I really would like to be a little more intentional about it in a regular rhythmic way. So what will work for our family is what I'm inquiring into for myself. Yeah. Thank you so much.
That's really good. So if you have a toddler, are you familiar with teaching the loving kindness meditation to children?
I've done some. We actually sing the metta song together a lot. But what would you think of for
I just want to give you this. I read an inspiring, very short article from a person named Gregory Kramer, who every night before bed he would practice loving kindness with his two sons, and he just invited them to just say out loud in their own words who they would like to give happiness to. So can my teachers be happy? Can the other kids be happy? Can the person I saw on the bus be happy, or something like that? And he did this. It was a nightly part of the nightly routine, putting them to bed. And the thing that was so fascinating was then, through all of the phases and stages of growing up and being a little child and a medium child and a teenage child, that they continued to have this daily practice of out loud with words with Dad, speaking about what one could have in mind at that moment for that day, about giving loving kindness. And it became he said that after his boys went off to college, when they came back on holiday from college, they wanted Daddy to come into the bedroom with them and to sit with them for the loving kindness meditation. So this to me, I think, is one of the great opportunities of being a parent, to make a simple some kind of spiritual practice that is very just natural. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Uh, uh, for myself, also, even as a bhikkhuni, we have a lot of chores, and if one thinks that the chores are a distraction from practice, then you really lost it. But if you have the idea this is like unifying, making the whole life to be unified for one purpose, if you have the idea of like the gratitude and appreciation and trying to help and being voluntarily willing to serve whoever you're doing, whoever's going to be helped by the chore that you're doing at that moment. Um, uh, if the busy aspect comes to be too much, so that you're not able to keep it mindfully, I recommend letting something slide. And I got this teaching from my teacher, Bante Ji. I went to him and I asked, because I felt that there was too much work and that I'm not able to finish all the work that I had. Of course, this is work that I had taken on voluntarily. Um, and Bante said, well, if you're not able to finish all your work, then don't finish it. But the main thing is only to do as much as you're able to do mindfully, to do it at a speed and in a way that you're able to do it mindfully. And beyond that, if you didn't finish everything, that's not the purpose is not finishing everything on the list. The purpose is to do the work in a way which is mindful. Yeah, good. Well, I'm happy to hear from you, and we'd be happy to see you again. Do you have anything to add? No? Do you have any comment to add?
I feel like for me, I've almost been like afraid of the 8 precepts, because I feel like a lot of my approach before has been like, I'm either doing it all the time and very well or not at all. And I feel like today has been helpful for me to try to reorient that I can make what I feel like is a sincere and good effort if I don't have to like push myself to exhaustion every time. Um, yeah, it feels doable when it's a day and not every foreseeable day.
Understand that what we're able to do is because of causes and conditions. Even sometimes it's possible that the mind could rebel. That like somebody mentioned something happened that was grievous, so they were feeling very sad, and they were not able to practice.
Aya, are you muted?
Oh, sorry. excuse me, I should take the mic back. I was saying that sometimes we can't practice as well as we want to. But it could be something's come up that's emotional. And then the best thing to do is to be mindful. To see, like, what's this like? What's it like that there's some kind of emotional complication or something that's blocking me from practicing, and just observe it and watch it. This is your best learning opportunity. It's like dukkha should be fully understood. So whatever is happening, to be mindful and to watch and see, that's really good. I'm going to, let's see, remove. Huh. Venerable Ganeshan Bhikkhu, I saw your picture a moment ago. Would you be happy to give us a comment or reflection about the Uposatha?
Hi, Venerable. Respect you.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for asking, and I hope that you are also well. Are you
Oh, yeah.
Are you coming from Bangladesh?
Yes, I'm from Bangladesh.
Very good.
You also practicing meditation?
Do you have any advice for these people?
Yes, it's my brother, Dhamma brother. Please
Uh-huh.
talk from in.
Very good. Very good.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm very happy to see you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
So, all of my brothers, monks also always watching your life. So
Yes.
he's very happy that you are expanding or extend the Dhamma to the all people around the world, especially meditation, which is very need for us. And because in our day-to-day life, we have everything, but we do not have happiness. So for
Yes.
happiness, all people are searching. But real happiness, we do not know what is what is the happiness of real our life. But material things we get happy, but that is not a permanent, that is very impermanent. So actually, we have to see the inner of our life in this. So in Bangladesh, various populated country or also very poor country, not very developed. So our Buddhists is a very minority people in this country, very minor, very small amount of we living in this country. So among them, so we are some Buddhist monks and we are practicing Dhamma. So we always searching the Dhamma, real Dhamma, the Buddha's real teaching we want to practice. And as much as we practicing our monk's life, and we also search that who are more developed Dhamma knowledge and also meditation. So we always search them, or we want help from them to develop our life, actually to get nibbana. That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much. Please, let's join in giving respect to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha.
Thank you.
Araham Samma Sambuddha Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sangham Namami. Thank you for your patient listening and for your sincere practice.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Aya.